I came home to my wife crying, but when I asked what was wrong, she just said, nothing. This happened over and over, until I saw a message on her phone. You can tell me anything. Heart pounding. I opened the chat. She hadn't cheated, not physically, but emotionally, she was gone. When I confronted her, she whispered, he just listens. I realized then I had already lost her. But what she said next broke me completely. My wife and I have been married for 15 years. I'm 43, she's 41. We have 2 kids together, ages 13 and 9. We live just outside Raleigh, North Carolina. I work in IT. She works in HR. On the outside, things probably looked stable. Normal. Like your everyday family. But that's not how it felt on the inside. At least, not anymore. It started slow. I didn't notice at first. But over time, things began to feel off. It's hard to explain when exactly I knew something was wrong. There wasn't one big moment. It was small things, piling up over time. Little shifts. Things that would have meant nothing on their own. But together, they meant everything. I came home one Thursday. Normal day. Long shift. Nothing exciting. Walked into the kitchen and saw her sitting at the table with a glass of wine, staring out the window. She didn't hear me come in. Her shoulders were shaking. She was crying. I asked her, what's wrong? She wiped her eyes quickly and looked up, like she'd been caught doing something she shouldn't. She said, nothing. I'm just tired. That was it. Just tired. I believed her. Or maybe I didn't, but I didn't want to push. I hugged her. She didn't lean into it. She didn't pull away either. Just sat there, frozen. The next few days were normal. She laughed with the kids. We watched a movie. She smiled. I told myself everything was fine. Maybe 2 weeks later, same thing. I got home, found her in the bedroom this time, sitting on the edge of the bed, holding her phone in her lap, quietly crying. I asked, are you okay? She said, I'm fine. It's nothing. Again, same tone, same words, like a script. She didn't even try to make up a reason. And again, I didn't press. I didn't want to upset her. I told myself she just needed space. But it kept happening. Once a week, then twice a week. Always the same. Red eyes, quiet voice. I'm just tired. Something was wrong. I could feel it. She started going to bed earlier. She used to wait up for me when I worked late. Now she'd be asleep before I even walked in the door. She stopped texting me during the day. No more, how's your day? No more memes. No more, miss you. At night, she'd lie next to me, scrolling through her phone, turning away when I got close. I asked her more than once, is something going on? Always the same answer. I'm fine. But she wasn't. One Saturday afternoon, she was in the shower. Her phone was on the nightstand, screen facing up. It buzzed with a message. I wouldn't have looked, really, I wouldn't. But I saw the name pop up. Mark Wolfface. I had never seen that name in her contacts before. And yes, the wolf emoji caught my eye. I don't know why, but it felt personal. Flirty even. Then I saw the message under his name. You can tell me anything. My stomach turned. My hands were shaking when I picked up her phone. I know it's wrong to go through someone's messages. I do. But I felt like I was going crazy, and I needed to know. What I read confirmed every fear I had. They'd been talking for months. Not just casual small talk. Deep stuff. She told him about our marriage. About how she felt alone. How I didn't ask about her day. How I didn't listen. How I stopped seeing her. She said she felt invisible. That she was just the mom, or the wife, and never just her anymore. He replied with things like, you're not invisible to me. I wish I could hold you right now. You deserve someone who really sees you. And she told him things she never told me. Childhood memories. Insecurities. Hopes. Regrets. Things we used to share when we were first dating. They hadn't met up. Not yet. No sex. No nudes. Nothing physical. But emotionally, she was his. And she wasn't mine anymore. The kids were asleep. We were sitting in the living room. I looked her straight in the eye and asked, how long have you been talking to Mark? Her face dropped. Just collapsed. Like all the air left her body. She didn't ask what I meant. Didn't deny it. Didn't try to lie. She just looked at me and said quietly, you went through my phone? I nodded. I didn't apologize. Then she whispered, he just listens. Those 3 words. I still hear them in my head every day. I asked her, are you in love with him? She shook her head. I don't know. I asked, do you still love me? She looked down. Then she said, I don't feel loved. Not by you. Not for a long time. She told me she had been trying to talk to me for years. That I was always too tired, too distracted, too busy. That every time she cried, she hoped I'd ask more than just once. That I'd notice. Really notice. But I didn't. I saw her tears and moved on. I saw her distance and ignored it. I assumed she was fine because I didn't want to face the idea that maybe she wasn't. She said, I didn't cheat. Not with my body. But maybe I did with my heart. I didn't mean to. But he saw me. And you didn't. I just didn't want to believe it. I asked her to block him. I asked her to at least take a break so we could work on ourselves. She said she needed time to think. That was her answer. Not, yes. Not, okay. Just time to think. After that, she got more guarded. Her phone was always on silent. Face down. Lock screen changed. New password. We used to share everything. Bank accounts, schedules, even dumb memes. Now she guarded her phone like it held nuclear codes. One night she went to sleep early, left her laptop open in the kitchen. She normally worked from home once or twice a week. Nothing unusual, but I saw her email was open. I didn't mean to look. Okay, maybe I did. I clicked, searched his name. The first thing I saw was an email confirmation for a hotel in Asheville. A reservation. 2 nights. King bed. 1 guest. From her email. The date was 2 weekends ago. The same weekend she told me she was driving to visit her cousin in Charlotte. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, staring at the screen, heart pounding, hands numb, feeling like someone had shoved me underwater and never let me come up. I waited until the kids left for school. She was drinking coffee at the table like nothing was wrong. I said, "You told me you were at your cousin's." But I saw the hotel email. In Asheville. She didn't answer. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just said, "It wasn't supposed to happen." Then she put the mug down, looked me straight in the eye, and said, "I needed to feel something." I think my heart actually stopped. "Did you sleep with him?" She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. She whispered, "I didn't go there to cheat. I went there to escape." I stood there, trying to breathe. She went on, said she felt trapped, like she was living someone else's life, like she was slowly dying every day and nobody noticed. Not me, not the kids, not anyone. And he, Mark, was a reminder that she was still someone. A woman, not just a mom, not just a wife. A person, someone worth listening to. She said they kissed. She said they held hands. She said they talked all night, and yes, she stayed in the room. She wouldn't say what else happened, but I didn't need the words. I knew. Not a plate, not a wall, not the coffee table. I broke the version of myself I had always believed I was. I always thought I was a decent man, loyal, hardworking, providing for my family, showing up, staying faithful. I didn't drink. I didn't go out. I didn't gamble. I thought that made me enough. But to her, I had become a stranger. She said she didn't recognize me anymore. I told her, I was here the whole time. She said, "You were, but you weren't with me." A few days after the confrontation, I got a message on Facebook Messenger from a woman I didn't know. Her name was Alyssa. She said, "Hi, I know this is weird, but I think your wife is involved with my husband. His name is Mark." I almost dropped my phone. We talked for hours. She told me they'd been having problems too. She found texts between them months ago. Mark promised it was over, that he was just being a friend, that it was emotional only, that he cared about her mental health and was just supporting her. That truth hit me like a hammer. She won't admit they slept together. She keeps saying, "I don't want to hurt you more than I already have." But the silence says enough. Her refusal to say it tells me everything. I'm stuck in this in-between space, where I know, but I don't know, because she won't give me that final confirmation. Maybe it's her way of holding on to a piece of herself. Maybe she thinks she's sparing me, but I don't need her protection. I need her honesty. It's strange, bonding with someone else's spouse like this. Someone who's hurting just as much as you. Someone who also wakes up in the middle of the night, asking, "How the hell did we get here?" She's not bitter. She's not loud. She's tired. Like me. Sometimes I think we understand each other better than our own spouses do. I know that sounds messed up, but right now, it's the only thing that feels real. No ending yet. There are still a million pieces on the floor. I haven't picked them all up yet. Some days, I don't even want to. I don't know what the next step is. But I do know this. What happened in that hotel room wasn't just the end of trust. It was the end of the version of life I thought I had. If anyone's still reading this, thank you. I'll keep updating. There's more. I can feel it. Hey again. I didn't expect to be back this soon. I thought I'd take some time to think, process things, maybe get a clearer head. But then something else happened. And now I'm spiraling again. Because just when I thought I knew the whole story, another crack split wide open. And what poured out was even worse than I expected. She messaged me again. This time, she was panicking. She had gone through Mark's iCloud backups. Found an old WhatsApp folder he forgot to delete. It auto-synced everything. She didn't just find messages. She found pictures. I won't go into detail, but it was enough. Poses. Hotel mirror selfies. Him and my wife in a bed that wasn't ours. Her in lingerie I had never seen before. And the dates? Before the Asheville weekend. So the hotel wasn't the first time. It wasn't an escape. It was ongoing. She lied to my face while I stood there breaking apart. She let me believe the hotel was the mistake. One time, a line crossed. But it was never just that weekend. They had been sleeping together for at least a few months. And now I know. I waited until the kids were out. I printed one out and left it on the dining table. Nothing explicit. Just enough to make it clear. She came in, saw it, and froze. Didn't touch it. Didn't speak. Just stood there staring. I said nothing for a while. Just waited. Finally, I asked, "How long has this been going on?" She sat down, like her knees gave out. Then she said, "It started the night we had that big fight in January. The one about the school fundraiser. I remember that night. I said something stupid. Something about how she should care more about real problems than cupcakes and decorations." She left the room. We didn't talk for 2 days. That was the night she called him. That was the night he just listened. And I guess that was the start. After that fight, I did notice she went out more. Said she needed me time. Said she was taking yoga classes. Going for walks. Getting her head clear. Sometimes she said she was at Target for hours, but never brought anything home. I never questioned it. I trusted her. God, I was so stupid. But here's the part that knocked the wind out of me all over again. She used my credit card to pay for the first hotel. She had her own card, but for some reason, she used mine. Maybe she forgot. Maybe she didn't think I'd notice. Or maybe she wanted to get caught, deep down. I checked the statement. There it was. The name of the hotel, plain as day. I missed it. I missed all of it. This was a few nights ago. I was yelling, not proud of it, but everything was boiling over. I asked her why. Again, over and over. She said, "You never made me feel chosen." I asked, "So you chose him instead?" That's when our 13-year-old walked in. She stood there in the hallway, silent, frozen, just like her mom did when she saw that photo. She didn't ask what was happening. She just said, "Are you guys getting divorced?" I didn't know what to say. Nadia started crying again. The same quiet tears I found her with weeks ago. The ones I thought were about work, or stress, or just tired. But they were always about him, and about me. And now, they're about everything falling apart. The very next morning, I got a message from someone I hadn't spoken to in over a year. Danny, an old co-worker of mine. Quiet guy. Nice. Had drinks with us once or twice after work. He said, "Hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but I saw Nadia and a guy together last month in Durham. They were at that little wine bar near the theater, holding hands. It looked intimate. I thought maybe you guys were separated or something, but then I saw your Facebook a few days later. I didn't realize what was going on. So yeah, it wasn't just hotels. It wasn't just emotional. It wasn't just secret texts. It was dates, public ones, restaurants, wine bars, maybe parks. I don't even know how many. They weren't hiding in shadows. They were out in the world, acting like a couple, like they had nothing to lose. She's still here, in the house, still says she needs time, still not wearing her wedding ring, still texting him. I know because I saw the notification again 2 nights ago when she left her phone in the bathroom. You looked beautiful last night. So they're still seeing each other, while she lives in our home, while she shares a roof with me and tucks our kids into bed. She won't move out. Says we need to think about the kids. But I don't think she's thinking about them at all. She's just scared to face what comes next. And maybe I am too. There's more. I know there is. Every day feels like a new layer of this mess is peeling off. And I'm starting to wonder how long she's been gone. Not physically, emotionally. Because maybe I didn't lose her last month. Or in January. Maybe I lost her years ago. And I was too blind to see it. I'll update again soon. There's something building. Something she's not telling me yet. I can feel it. This is the last time I'll write here. I think I need to put it down after this for my own sanity. So here it is. The confrontation. The truth. The fallout. It didn't happen quietly. It happened at my son's birthday party. We decided, against better judgment, to go ahead with our son's 9th birthday at our house. Just a few close family members and some neighbors. Nothing big. I didn't want to cancel it. Not for him. He didn't deserve to feel like something was off. So we played happy family for a day. We smiled. Took photos. She even baked the cake. But I felt it the whole time. Like I was standing on a frozen lake, listening to cracks beneath my feet. Something was coming. And then it came. It started with a conversation on the back patio. My brother, Jake, had come in from Charleston. He's not close with Nadia. Never has been. But he knows me. He pulled me aside and said, "You okay, man? Something's off." I tried to brush it off. But then he asked something that flipped the switch. "You know that guy she was talking to earlier? With the gray button down? Is that her cousin or something?" I froze. Gray button down. I walked back into the house and looked across the living room. There he was. Mark. He was at the party. In my house. Talking to my mother. I swear I thought my heart stopped. I walked straight to Nadia. I asked her, loud enough for everyone near us to hear, "Why is he here?" She turned pale. Guest looked over. She stuttered. He just dropped by to wish Jake a happy birthday. You think I'm that stupid?" Then I looked around and said, probably louder than I should have, "Everyone, this is the guy my wife's been sleeping with. In case you were wondering." You could have heard a pin drop. Mark tried to speak. "Look, maybe we should talk somewhere else." I cut him off. "No, you don't get to hide. Not anymore. You've been sneaking around with my wife for months. You think showing up here is okay?" Nadia yelled, "Stop. This isn't the time." I said, "No, you made it the time when you invited your affair partner to our son's birthday party." Mark tried again. "I didn't know you'd be here, man." I laughed. "You didn't know I'd be at my own house? Are you out of your goddamn mind?" People were leaving. My mother pulled the kids into the hallway. Jake stood in between me and Mark, arms out, trying to calm things down. Nadia was crying now, full-on sobbing. He came on his own. I didn't invite him, I swear. I looked at her and said, "So you just gave him our address? Thought he'd swing by with balloons." She said nothing, just stared at the floor. Mark left. Jake made him. Practically dragged him out by the collar. Told him if he ever stepped foot near me again, there'd be real consequences. The party fell apart. Everyone went home early. Even our son noticed something was wrong. That night, I slept in my car. Not the guest room. Not a hotel. Just the car. I parked in a grocery store lot and cried like I hadn't since my father died. Not because I wanted her back, but because I didn't recognize my life anymore. The next day, Nadia packed a bag and left. She went to stay with her sister. Said she needed space. Said we needed a cooling off period. I didn't argue. I didn't ask her to stay. I just told her, you burned it all down. You don't get to sit in the ashes and ask for air. She started crying again. But this time, I didn't comfort her. Jake stayed a few more days. He helped me talk to the kids. Told them mom needed some time and that adults sometimes go through hard things. My mom didn't say much. But when she hugged me goodbye, she whispered, you didn't deserve this. Even Alyssa, Mark's wife, messaged me. I can't believe he showed up. I'm so sorry. I think they've both lost their minds. It's been 3 weeks now. We're officially separated. Lawyers are involved. We're working out custody. It's messy, sad, cold, but weirdly clear. I'm not in love with her anymore. I love the version of her I married. The one who would dance barefoot in our kitchen at midnight. The one who called me just to hear my voice. The one who used to fall asleep on my chest during storms. That version left a long time ago, and I think I finally accepted that. Before she left, she looked at me and said, you'll never understand what it's like to be slowly erased. And maybe I won't, but I do know what it's like to be betrayed in the slowest, cruelest way by someone who kept smiling while they did it. If you're reading this and you're seeing the signs, those little cracks in your relationship, you need to listen. Ask. Push. Don't ignore them. Because by the time the silence becomes obvious, it might already be too late. I'm not okay. Not yet. Maybe not for a while. But I'm not destroyed either. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. And someday, maybe not soon, but someday, I'll be okay.